Well, guys, I'm going to show you how to do a state diagram and sequence diagram. I'm going to share my screen to explain my two examples that I have. Okay, so this is my state diagram for a music app that I have. So this app is really simple. You can play it by yourself or online with a friend. So what this app does is you can select the difficulty, easy, hard, or on expert level. So you can start playing. So there's two different apps. So one is a free version and the other is a premium version. And the premium version has a few more features. So you can save the game, you can play with a friend and save the game, pause the game and continue where you left. But with the free version, you cannot save or play with a friend. So this is my state diagram for the free game, for my free game version. So a sequence diagram, so you see there's rectangles, shapes. So these are here, the states. The lines are the transitions, and this is the starting point, and this is the end point. So after the system loads the game, after the user selects or clicks the icon to open the app. So this is the transition is the user selects the free icon, and then the state is the free game icon is selected. The transition for the next state is building the user interface. The state is the user interface is built. Transition, displaying the menu, and the menu displayed. So from here, the user has three options. So he can select the difficulty, he can start the game without selecting any difficulty, or close the game. To choose a difficulty, so it will ask, once the user selected, it will ask if it wants. If the option selected is correct, and if it's correct, he can click the start button. If not, he will be able to choose a different difficulty option. So once the game started, so an image that represents rhythmic notation will generate, and the user will have to tap the screen rhythmically, so that has to match the music image. And a timer will start, and once it will run for a minute or a few seconds, so the player will be able to make points as he match those images that are representing or represented by those tappings on the screen. And if it matches those, he will be able to see a message saying good job. Otherwise, it will say wrong. And then the timer will end, and the game will stop and save the scores, and he will be able to see the overall score and go back to the menu. If he wants to continue playing, he has to start the game again or close the app. So this next one is for the premium version. It does the same thing, but right here, this is the same thing, but I just moved to this side so it just don't get messy over here when the user can actually pause the game and resume the game or close the game. And when the game stops, he will be prompted or asked if he wants to save the game. If he wants to save the game will be saved on the level achieved and score achieved will be saved and will be brought to the menu, and then he can close it from there. Or if he doesn't want to save the game, we'll just go straight to the menu and he will close the game from there. So this is my state diagram for login. So it's called the user login. So the user will enter the username and password. So the transition is entering and the state is entered. So it will be authenticating to a database if the user exists and if the password matches the username. And if it does match, it will be logged in. If not, it will be prompted to re-enter the username or password again. And I'm missing the endpoint here after the user logged in successfully. So this one is for the actual connection between the player game app and the friend app, the friend game app. So it will start an HTTP URL connection. It will create it. So transition created, and then it is created. Then it will open a connection to the server, and then, or instead of the server, to the other. It will be a client to client, so to the other client, and it will send a request to a friend to start the game, and it will be received, and then they can both start the game. So once the game started, it will do this, and then when the game ends, they will be prompted if they want to keep playing, or if they just know the connection is closed. That's all I have for the state diagrams. So now I'm going to show you my sequence diagram. So sequence diagram, you have this lifetimes or events. So these are your classes, and this is the instance of the class. And you choose this arrow to send a message, and this type of arrow is the reply or the message received, the message back. And this is a loop. So you create a loop using this shape square, and this is loop. And this alt here, it's for like an if statement. If statements are down this way inside an alt shape. So this one, I have a view, a listener, and array where I'm storing all the images that will be generated, and a random number. So we will generate a different image each time. And this is not complete, but this is just a really short example just to show you how to do that. So when the user clicks on the view, which could be like a model view controller, would be my view. My model would be the rhythms, and my controller, I haven't done that yet. But anyways, so this is the code or that we will be looping to generate each image each time the user ended tapping or any certain amount of time that the user will have to tap on the screen to match the image before the next image is generated, and the user will see it displayed there in the view. So I have another loop. This is not all connected, but I have to connect it for the stopwatch and the runnable that I have. So this one is for the events and the rhythms. So I haven't finished this one, so that would be my logic. If the user events for the tapping or clicking on the view, that pattern match the pattern that will be that will belong to an image. So each image will have a pattern of event or of clicking events, and that pattern will have to do with the in-between events, on-click events, so that those intervals between each other will be different, so they will be matching that image notation that will represent that with any type of pattern. So if that matches, the user will get a message on the view saying correct or good job. Otherwise, we'll get back with that wrong message, and the results will be saved. All the match and maybe all the missed points, and it will generate a score, the overall score, and return the overall score to the view so that the user can see how many points he achieved. This is for the actual connection between the client-to-client apps. So the user will have to enter a username and password. So those will be two strings, and we will send a message to validate those two username and passwords that will contain all the usernames and passwords for the users that registered. And if it matched, it will get a login successful message, and then from there the client app will create a connection to the URL connection class, and then send a message to the server, and from the server the other user will do the same, so they can create a connection between each other. It's not done correctly, but this is a general idea. So the other client will connect to this other friend game, and then they can send a challenge request. This is not here, but the idea is that one of them will send the other one play or challenge request to actually start the game and play it. So it would be like a peer-to-peer, client-to-client. So the idea is that the game will do the same depending on which feature, if it's the free version or the premium version. So, this is not a really good example because it's not done well, right yet, but this is just a general idea of how to do a state and sequence diagram. Thank you for your patience.